it was a case of it grew because of the social conditions people were in. The people felt like they were separated from the government. They didn't feel as part of society. So it became their way of having a voice. So then it then moved, to, hip hop and rap, then mixing with R&B and people singing. I wish then we're now in this wave of dance music. If you turn on your radio, it's all about dance music. But that also is going to change in the future. These are things that you should, as marketers again, you should be picking up on and seeing how the patterns are changing. Later on, when I talk about this in more detail, you find that music actually moves in patterns. The music, we're hearing now in terms of the dance music now, it's something that that was in the 80s, which was also the same thing that was in the 50s, and then the same that was in the 20s. So it moves in 20-year gaps. It's very, very strange how people's musical taste moves in 20-year gaps, whereby the music you're listening to now, maybe your children at some point will listen to similar music. Distribution and delivery models of music must change, with more collaborations between music companies and developers like Microsoft, Apple, Samsung, Facebook, and even Google. It's about looking at how there can be more cross collaboration to bring the music to the consumers. And also, I believe that the idea of paying for music alone is dying. This whole idea of first of all, most people don't buy CDs anymore. Now if you like a song, you go to iTunes and download it. But that's changing. I believe that the idea of paying for music will die out. But it will grow when it's sold as a package with merchandise. So you buy music, you buy the song, and you get a concert ticket, you get T-shirts, you get merchandise with it, so in essence it becomes a promotional material on which other products can be sold, as opposed to being the product. So music now becomes the marketing tool for people to now start to sell the other products, as opposed to music being their product. Does that make sense? Try to tell me if there's things you don't understand. So you all looked at me with such blank faces.
You're just shy. Shy people.
I doubt it. If you're marketers, you can't be shy. You have to go out there and sell your products. And go to pitch clients and things like that. You just can't be shy. I say, this is what we want. This is how we're gonna get it. So yeah, music, it now becomes an experience of live shows of an educational emphasis, particularly as music is becoming more localized with regional sounds starting to break into the mainstream. For example, now you're having, I'm not sure if you realize that there are now like various oriental sounds. So some dance music now have rhythms and tunes from Bollywood, from the Orient, Africa as well. So it means that local taste is changing and local regional taste is becoming more mainstream, and that will mean that the delivery of music becomes more localized. We find that this is as I said, here's an industry in crisis. This is the one that's closest to my heart. The different segments, including insurance, banking, asset management, and private equity. Each segment is an industry, is in crisis. For example, with regards to asset management, which are your pension funds and things like that, most people just if you look at the performance of most of the big asset managers like Henderson's and Fidelity, this is the massive, huge ones. They are, in terms of returns, they are making massive returns. Some of them are actually losing money, and people are saying, forget it. I'll just go on the stock market myself, learn a few indicators, and trade myself, and invest my money, my pensions in the stock market myself. So what's happening with the financial industry is that there's now this intermediation. So, for example, what that means is that let's explain this now. I have some volunteers. Can I have you?
Okay.
Stand up to the front. You as well, please.
Oh no.
Come on. And Zana as well, you come up. I'll teach you guys the fundamentals of finance now. Come close to the front. Okay. So you here, you're in the middle, yeah? Okay. So this person wants to borrow money. And this person has money. And Zana, traditionally, Zana will be the person, will be the bank, the intermediary. Doesn't matter if it's in insurance or it's in asset management. So Zana takes money from him and people like him and gives it to him for as interest. And he then pays her interest, and she makes her money from the interest that she receives from the money, and then gives him some interest if she likes him and if she wants to be honest with him. But what's happening in the industry now is that Zana can go to sit down now. Okay. So now Zana is gone, because of technology, him can now start to talk. Imagine he's an entrepreneur who wants to start a business, and he's an angel investor. So through crowdfunding websites and angel investment websites and various other platforms, these two can now talk, as opposed to going through the bank. Does that make sense? All right. Thank you. And of course, it goes without saying that within this is the debt-based financial model, and it's dying because the industry can only survive with sharing the success and failures of entrepreneurs through investments and partnerships. They need to become more innovative in their product offerings and the regions where they operate. They must become more involved in the social dialogues in the regions in which they operate. For example, you've all heard of CSR, corporate social responsibility. We are pioneering models whereby, okay, a nation comes to us and asks us to raise finance for them, for a major project. Rather than say, okay, this is the money, this is the interest you're paying, we now insist on some strings attached. Okay, because we believe that that's the only way, only way that we can really get our money back. So we can say, okay, now we have a great consultant team here as well. Why don't we come in and see if we can help you sort out your tax system or your education system? Because we don't think enough. It's about looking at the economy and seeing where are the weak points. Where are the areas in which they could do becoming more strengthened. What about the health sector? We believe that you should actually be investing money in your health industry or in your education. So this way, we not just we become responsible financiers. We don't just give money, and lend money just for the sake of receiving a percentage of returns as interest. but also we actually get involved in the social dialogue of the nation and say, how can we help you to actually become better? Because it's about the long-term viability of that society. And history has shown us numerous times a society that doesn't that the gap between the rich and the poor becomes very, very, very wide, starts to crash, starts to crumble. So it's not just about us being nice people. It actually makes business sense, makes good business sense. Yeah, and this of course involves major self-analysis about what the purpose of finance in today's world is, and the re-examination of the concept of finance itself. This is what we do all the time, and then that's the reason why we remain creative, we remain fresh, we remain new, we remain relevant. Okay, this is one probably you're all interested in now. Marketing and advertising, social media, confused industry. This is how I see it at the moment. Because on the one hand, you have your traditional methods of advertising and marketing, your television, your radio, your billboards, things like that. And then internet marketing came, social media came, and that caused marketers to lose their center of gravity because they didn't know what to make of it. But then they realized that, you know what, guys, this is quite big. So they all jumped on this bandwagon of internet marketing and social media marketing, without really fundamentally understanding how it works. And then by doing so, they left the whole idea of marketing, the fundamental basis on which marketing is based on, behind. Marketing is fundamentally providing the knowledge of a product to its customer segments in the most innovative and memorable fashion, and highlighting the benefits of the product. That's it. But more recently, it's become more about placing a product, a service or product on the internet without any thought as to whether it will be remembered, is it innovative, how does this highlight its benefits, as well as how are we matching this product to the relevant markets? How is this meeting the particular segments that we're trying to market to? Does that make sense? Talk to me, guys, please. Don't leave me out here by myself. And this is as I said, as I alluded to earlier, with Facebook. This is a big problem for Facebook, because a lot of marketers thought that I don't know if it was Facebook that that made them believe this, or they just believed it themselves. But somewhere it just became the fact that, okay, because Facebook has a lot of users, and so if you market your service or your offerings on Facebook, you're going to sell. You're going to make it big, without any real thoughts of, okay, how do we really market? How do we target our market? How do we target our clients? Does this marketing, is Facebook the type of marketing that a person, a consumer, in our markets, will buy from? Is Facebook the place? If you start selling hearing aids to grandmas on Facebook, that's not going to sell. Because most, I'm not sure if your grandma goes on Facebook. Well, I don't think my grandma does. And that's and with Facebook, it's something that that I've been thinking about. is, how can Facebook make money? How can Facebook make money? And is this, can I use this one on the board?
Yes.
All right. Wait a minute. Okay. So imagine this is this represents, there's a buyer here. My writing is not the best, so forgive me. You have the sellers here. And in the middle, you have the advertisers and your marketers. Okay. And it's in this space that Facebook finds itself. So it's only advertising, it's only saying to the people, buy this product. But I believe that where Facebook can really start to make money, if it becomes more of a point of sale. So it becomes more of a broker.
Like Amazon.
Similar. But a company tried that on Facebook called Pavement. I'm not sure if you've heard of them. Pavement, as opposed to pavement, it was Payvement. They tried that, but they didn't get them the fundamentals right to really make money in this way. Facebook can really leverage on the customer base. Well, it has to be done in a sensible way. I know Google is doing something like that, whereby Google, the next generation of Google searches will actually be very, very much a personalized experience, whereby it knows your location, it starts to record your preferences, your searches, so that whenever you're on Google, it can actually suggest to you various restaurants to go to in your local area. For example, you're in Riga, it knows your students, so you can say, okay, this place is nice because it's cheaper. I know what students, you don't have a lot of money, so this is where you should go to eat. It's cheap and its food is not too unhealthy. This is where you can go, to really chill out and things like that. So it really markets your whole, personality and your searches and things like that, and it starts to suggest to you what you can actually do. And if Facebook were to do that, because it has your data, it has where you were, it has the data of where you were last night, doesn't it? Yeah, if they can start not do it too invasive, but just look at your general profile, what you like, what your interests, and what kind of friends do you have, where do you work, where do you live, then they start to market products to you that fits within your preferences, then of course you'd be interested.
This can get creepy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For example, for me, as I said, I love history. I love books and things that that gives me a different take on if this would have happened. Maybe Germany would have won the Second World War, or Archduke Ferdinand would have been killed before the First World War. I like things that that provoke my thoughts and that makes me think. So if I go on Facebook, which I hardly ever do, and they say, oh, on the side of it says, oh, there's books on in this area. I'm like, wow, I want to buy that. Or books on finance. You can ask any question about financial history. I can tell you. But that's because that's my interest. And if the adverts that are on there are according to your interest, then it's not as annoying. We have adverts which you're a man, and adverts are all about women's shoes. It's not relevant to you. It's annoying. If it's relevant to you, then you're interested in it. But then there's many things that they have to do to really get that right. But I do think that for them to make money, this is the way for them. Does that make sense or not?
Yes.
All right. They have a massive consumer base, massive. So. All right. I want to talk about something that's really key. I want to talk about dimensions of business. As many of you know, what is a dimension? A dimension is how the various ways in which you can measure and conceptualize and understand the product. That's why with a person, you can say that person is three-dimensional. This pen is three-dimensional. A line in the ground is one-dimensional. This page is two-dimensional. Things like that. Dimensions in the business sense refers to the many ways through which we can understand, locate, and view entrepreneurial opportunities and challenges. I spoke about this a bit earlier. I made a reference to it. Musical rhythmal dimension. Everything has a rhythm. Every single thing has a rhythm. Your heart beats to a rhythm. Every single thing has a rhythm. You have 4 seasons in a year. And businesses and markets also have defined rhythms by which they work. The financial markets have been measured as moving in rhythmic patterns, which can be measured with certain indicators. That can be used, for example, the Elliott wave principle. I'm not sure if you guys know about it. You can actually, predict, where the market is going to turn from up to down, things like that, because it's fundamentally based on an analysis of us as individuals and how we work together in a particular market. So markets are made up of people, and people are subject to rhythmic patterns of optimism and pessimism in natural sequences. So it's easier to predict the behavior of markets with a lot of certainty. So you can actually, when people say, "Oh, business is hard," it's not hard. You just must learn to read the markets, to understand the market, understand the wave of the markets, understand the pattern of the markets, understanding each market has a different rhythm to it. It has different beats to it. The financial market moves in different ways from the marketing industry or from the tech industry or from the beauty industry. It all has different patterns. So as you become more experienced in business, especially in your industry, you begin to intuitively know and anticipate the waves and rhythms that will unfold in your markets. So as I said, you're like a really good surfer. You just stay on the beach, and you just know that the wave is coming. You just know it. That really big wave, and then when it comes, you just get on it and ride it. And that's how it is with markets. The wave comes, you take it, make some money, you come off. The wave comes, you take money, you come off, and you come off again. It's that simple. Political. This is very, very key. The greatest risk, especially in doing business internationally, is political risk. This doesn't just come from expropriation, whereby the government seizes your company and says, or your assets, and say, you can't have this anymore. This belongs to the states. It can also be in instances whereby legislations and laws that can cause a business to become less profitable in an instance, or force you to pay more directly through taxation or indirectly through greater regulation. This can also be good as well, because you can also identify opportunities and consolidation plays by simply following political debates. For example, in Europe at the moment, so this whole issue of how the European markets are going to become more integrated. You know, are they going to become more federal, whereby, you know, the taxation and policy and legislation is more power is given to Europe, or is it going to be more diffuse, more spread out? And by watching those markets and watching those debates, you can begin to get an understanding of where the market is going to, and you know, and as a business leader, you start to position yourself where you know where it's going to, so you can take advantage of it when it happens, or prepare for it, and when it happens, take advantage of it. And also look at the legal dimension. What laws are coming in, what laws are coming out. This could be the difference between catching a big wave or drowning. Global dimensions. The major shifts taking place globally. But what was very funny, I read in an article the other day, that in essence, that in the remote part of Africa, there are these guys, they're fishermen. You know, they actually go fishing every day as usual, but they're using like technology in a very, very innovative way. So instead of just going to, you know, of course they have different markets to sell their fish or things like that. While they're on the boat after they've caught their fishes, they actually, you know, use the internet and things like that, and search for which is the best local markets, you know, that can get the best price for the, you know, for the fishes, you know, that they have just caught. So it just gives you an idea of how technology is changing how people work. So, of course, trade flows, abundance, or lack of natural resources, and even wars and civil unrest has an impact on the various markets. Has an impact on which markets you recommend to your clients to enter or not to enter or come out of. So whatever the reasons, entrepreneurs and companies struggle to sell their goods and services in areas where there's no demand. When across the sea, for sometimes, due to good economic fortune, there's massive demand for those same products. And all it have taken to identify these markets was a good piece of analysis. So, for example, there are things here you have in abundance. In Latvia, for example, wood, that are very, very scarce elsewhere. So just how do you find those places where it's scarce, and then you start to make some transactions. I said it's very simple. Time. This is often very, very important. If you have a business or you are advising a company, or you're in a company and you're advising the directors or whatever, sometimes a decision that may look good today will look very, very bad tomorrow. So it's about taking into account, the long run. Ecosystem. This is critical, and every business has this. How do I draw this now? Okay. It's not a straight line like this is going to here and then that goes to there and that goes to there. This is how most people conceptualize business and industries. But in reality, each industry is more, one is here and then it goes up here, and then it comes down here, and then another one is here, and then it goes back up, and then this comes back up here. And it's like, it's everywhere. And this is the sort of ecosystem you have in most industries. So, and then, for example, you have an entry point here, and you have an exit point here. It's like it's like the forest. The roots of one tree, goes intersects with another tree, and the birds come in, and then the whole forest is this big ecosystem, and that's how businesses work, and industries work. So you have to understand, for example, in London, when the financial industry crashed in 2008, the various ecosystems also crashed. For example, the recruitment agencies, they didn't have anywhere to place staff anymore. The local restaurants and bars lost a lot of revenue. The PR firms, the advertising firms, they lost a lot of revenue as well. The legal industry, the consulting industry, they lost huge amounts of money. These are all what you call ecosystems of a particular industry. So when you understand all of this, you can look at industry and say, okay, how does industry work? Which industry does it affect? If something goes bad in this industry, how will it affect my industry? It's those pieces of analysis that will let you know, okay, this is going wrong. This might get bad. So let me move into open another office in somewhere else. For example, an example here will be the whole the port in Ventspils. Since the Gazprom and the Russian energy companies stopped piping oil through Ventspils. It's of course has had and will continue to have a major impact on the local industry there, and also because that's linked to the whole economy, it will have an impact on the whole economy as well. Also, it's not all bad. You also have opportunities as well to take advantage through M&A to take control of upstream or downstream opportunities, whereby I have a shop that sells cheese, for example. You have a shop that sells cheese. Above your ecosystem, so you have a cheese factory. Above your ecosystem, you have a dairy farmer that sells milk to you. That's upstream. And downstream, you have a sandwich shop. Maybe a restaurant buys your cheese. So you say, okay, the market is it's been a bit funny. What I'll do is I'll buy this dairy farmer, or I'll buy the restaurant, because I think that I can make a lot more money that way as well. Okay, I need to hurry. What time is it? Alright, run through your wrist. So, historical dimension, know who's in your market, where the markets, your industry starts, who started it, who are the main players, because of course those people who started industry were the people who actually set the bar, set the main standards for that industry. How to start my businthis: develop your gifts. First of all, know yourself, your likes, your dislikes, drives, motivations, fears. All this will determine your level of commitments. Understand your product, your markets. Understand your clients. Share your convictions. Start to create disciples. Start writing, doing seminars, teaching, blogging, preaching, training. Start to establish yourself in the markets. Create your core team. people who help you execute your vision. Also, to find a way to reproduce your goods and your services as quickly as possible. Distribution. How am I going to distribute my products? I know you have a marketing model that you've identified. Think through getting your product services of people to the location where your customers where they can be more effective. How do they pay you? And then of course dominate. You work, this is a two-stage process. It's internal. You work with a superior mindset to change how your industry collectively thinks and believes. And then external domination, in the process of integrating these organizations into yours through M&A and partnerships. I have time to read this poem. Okay. This is one of my favorite poems. This is by a man called Rudyard Kipling, an Englishman. It says, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hate, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat these two impostors just the same, if you can bear the truth you've spoken, bear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve you your turn long after they're gone, and so hold on when there's nothing in you except the will who says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you. If all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiven minutes with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more. You'll be a man, my son. Thank you. Any other questions?
Ask questions.
Any questions? I know it's a lot to take in, and hopefully at some point I'll have a chance to break this down a bit more, to work with you guys in more detail. But the key is to think differently. Think differently about your world. Go out there and see opportunities. I hear people talk down on this country a lot. This country is bad, or this area is bad, whatever. But there's opportunities everywhere. Just about looking, seeing things, and seeing differently. And I hope this talk has done that for all of you. Thank you.